My heart. Can I just ask someone if anybody's willing to video this for my mother? Okay.
No.
It's an honor to read alongside Gumba, and Gumba, thank you so much for being flexible and having me read after you, because I have a friend that was supposed to come from Davenport. I don't know, Maren, if she made it, but I hope she did. Hi, thank you for coming. I'm really happy to be able to read in the Shambaugh House for two reasons. The first reason is because I belong here. The second reason is because I belong here. I say that because the first day I noticed that there's a letter from a Jamaican writer written in a poem written in 1989, and it's framed right here next to the chimney. And her name was Christine, and she wrote it in 1989. My name is Christine, I was born in 1989, so I feel like she signed my way to the IWPs, and I'm glad to be here. This is a democracy. So you will get to vote the flow of the emotions that we will be able to share tonight. Sorry, this thing is just not working for me. Okay, better. This is a democracy. So you will get to vote the flow of the emotions that we will be sharing tonight. No, really, you will get to vote. So do you want us to go from happy to sad, or from sad to happy? It's an honest question. Sad to happy?
Yeah.
Okay. So by happy, I meant that it was less sad. Did I omit information? Before I could let you feel like you could decide, I won't apologize. But it's still a democracy. You can utter your discontent while my hand closes your mouth shut with the words that I speak to appease you. Because at the end of this reading, you will feel neither happy, less sad, or sad. I will not change the flow of my reading I decided before I came to this podium unless I decide to, but it's still a democracy. You can make your voices heard, vote, make use of that ballot, it's a democracy. But you can't see all of you, I can see all of you. You can't hear all of you, I can hear all of you. So if I omit, distort, and change information, is it still a democracy? By the end of this reading, you won't feel angry. If you won't feel angry, then you're not alive. And as you follow me on this journey, you'll realize that I read fast, I can't help it. I am a roller coaster, you can't expect me to ride like a train. So hold on to your seats and buckle up. I am going to be throwing F-bombs all over this place. Fuck yous, fuck that, fuck this, and motherfucker this, that, and motherfucker everywhere. So get your shields ready or get in the bunker. You do not know where I come from, so it gives you no right to scrutinize my name. I do not have an Ethiopian one, and no, I didn't change it to sound European or for fame. You see me, and the first thing you notice is that I'm an Ethiopian young woman. And that, I am. I will not deny my major origin. It would be like saying that I am a man, which I'm not. But would you know what other mixture of blood flows within my veins? Do you know what boils within my body? Would you be able to tell what I am made of if my heart drains? Can you understand how long it has taken me to understand the identity that most my age seemed to have been born with? And even questioning where I came from was taken as an insult, as if some sort of an attempt to deny it. But know this, you wouldn't know the feeling of holding your father's hand and to be taken for a bitch, or the boggled eyes when he says you're his firstborn staring as if you were a witch. And suddenly, the resemblance would dawn on them as if some sort of an epiphany, and all of a sudden, they could approve of my name as mine. Heck, I could even earn a Tiffany. Oh no, trust me, you have no clue where I come from, yet you think I should still change what's mine. It has been given to me, so what's it to you if it had been a thread, a dot, or a line? Put my name to the side, and I'll let you decide where you put me in this world of ours. Born of half this and half that, from a quarter this and a quarter that, after a labor that took hours. A mother that moved halfway across the country to start a family of her own, integrated but not fully into a family halfway away from half her own. Born into a confused circle of green eyes, wide noses on a white body. Kinky black hair on a white face and sparkling brown eyes like you haven't seen on anybody. A range of European and Ethiopian names, and they were all siblings. An aggregation of half-privileged and half-discouraged ugly ducklings. And that is only my father's side, to which my temper and my name choose to abide. Half of the full story that would take a lifetime if you were to take me on this ride. The other half of half the story started with a blood that's a quarter Middle Eastern. Half the family with Ethiopian names, dark soft hair, which made it hard for most to discern. Muslim and Christian ancestries that still make it difficult for me to choose a group. So I choose not to choose because choice itself would bring me back into a loop. So think halfway more than twice before you decide what my name should be. Actually, think twice before you even think that you know me. Because I'm still discovering the path for this lost girl inside. I am trying to help her forget some of the rejection for which she had cried. This is a poem that I had the honor of writing and reading for Dr. Joe Biden, who was visiting in Ethiopia. And so I wrote it in Amharic and in English. I'll first read like one stanza in Amharic because I have fellow Ethiopians in the group today. I found them finally in Iowa City. So I'll just read the first stanza and then I'll read the entire poem in English so you won't be missing out. እድሜዋ 6 ቢገፋ 10 ትውልዷም አዲስ አበባ ታሪኳም ከብዙዎች ያልተለየ ቢነገር ቢተረክ የሚያስነባ እቃቃና ኩኩሉ ከጎረቤት ካጎት ልጅ በመጫወት ያሳለፈች በዚህም በዚያም በሰበባ ሰበቡ ሲነካኳት ከመደፈር ያልተረፈች ብዙውን ጊዜ ግን ከአባቶች ካጎቶች ወይም ካስጠኞች አያልፍ ለሴት ልጅ ባል ለማግባት እንደ ባህል መድፈርን ከሆነ እንደግፍ ማስጠንቀቂያ ንቃ ብትናገር በለቅሶ ብታሳውቅ ማን ነው ሲያመናት ያጎት ልጆች ሲጫወቱ አስጠኙም ሲከፈለው አባትም ቀጠለ መሆኑን አባት በላብ ተዘፍቃ ለምድር ያበቃቻት የገዛ እናቷም ነገሩን ናቀችው ውሸትማ አታውሪ ለማንም አትድገሚ ሞኝም አትሁኚ ብላ መለሰችው ትረሳው ብላ ይሆን ወደማይገኝ የትውስታ ክፍል ተሸግሮ ይሆን ብላ አስባ ወይንስ ላሉ ባልታ በይሉኝታ የፈቀደችው የልጇ ህይወት ወደ ገደል እንድትገባ So the English version I'm going to read you is not the one I read for Dr. Joe Biden because Washington State Department would not allow me to use cuss words. I am going to be reading you the unclean version. And the longer one. Write about girls. Write about women, they said. That's all I want to write about until I'm dead. But there's so much to tell, so much to say, I won't even be done on my funeral day. She was 6, 8, maybe 10, and grew up in Addis. She had a story similar to many that went like this. Pretend games and hide and seek played with cousins and the neighbor's kid until the day Pandora's box was cracked open from the lid. But most of the times it's fathers, uncles, older cousins, and or tutors. Another tragedy bound to happen in a culture that rapes to find suitors. Against instructions she told, but no one believed a word she said. Fathers kept fathering, cousins kept on playing, and the tutor kept getting paid. Her own mother, who sweat dripping, labored for hours to bring her to the world, had told her to stop lying, not to tell a soul, and stop being a foolish little girl. Was it in the hope that she'd forget and somehow archive the file in a dead brain cell, or was it for the pride and honor that she bought her daughter's train ride to hell? She was 12, 15, maybe 18, a teenage girl in a woman's body. Flirts with teachers, sexually active, heck, even has herself a sugar daddy. Content that every moving dick wants to get between her thighs, she does the deed and constantly reminds herself to stop telling lies. Her mother was right. It never happened. But what's happening now? Confused, distressed, cries herself to sleep, but stop being a foolish little girl is her vow. Who cares? She gets all the attention that she needs, gets out of trouble and passes grades, and every time she knows she only needs to open her mouth or her legs, she spreads. Her own mother flirts left and right, lifts up her skirt, and only the train hadn't been through. So when she becomes the neighborhood bike not telling a soul helped who? What is it that made her believe that it would be her daughter's only competitive advantage? That she silently taught her that her golden ticket was her vagina and not her brain from an early age? She was 22, 25, maybe 28, a working young woman with a ticking clock. She's been formatted to know her worth, show her value with her married cock. She went to a good school, comes from a middle-class family, has traveled with her parents or her foreign boyfriend, and often speaks English fluently. The exposure allows her to hold a conversation, but never with herself, a topic she's left untouched like the Bible full of dust on an atheist's shelf. She has priorities now, so she wakes up each morning ready to be hunted and hunt, eager to find the one worthless enough to love her, excuse me for being blunt. Her mother never taught her that there wouldn't even be one that's worthy, not one pure enough to feed her passion, to shower her body with kisses and love her deity. Was it because the mother didn't know any better, didn't believe in womanhood, or had she forgotten to teach her daughter that we are sacred land that bear children, or had she misunderstood? She was 30-somethings, an engaged woman. She knew she was fulfilled, had reached her goal, had found a man. She wasn't alone and childless like those women who won't shut up. She wasn't like those women stuck at desk jobs who wouldn't listen not to scare the men away by fighting and standing up. She wasn't like those women stuck at desk jobs suing their bosses for harassment. She had climbed beds and the ladder. She was now married with no attachment. Her mother was proud. Her daughter had made it in this unfair man's world. She had the house, the car, the bank account to prove that she was no foolish girl. And every time they gaze into each other's eyes, they remember to forget that day. Both silently agree that this is how a woman should get her way. Was it in denial that this was not an easy route to take? Or were they both suffering from an infinite heartbreak? She was 40-something now, and her daughter comes back from school. At the back of her mind, she wonders if she's the fighting type or a fool. She wants to tell her to be stronger, but doesn't know how. She worries she'll be devastated to stand when everyone else will bow. She prays that no one cracked her lid and broke her heart. She wishes for a second chance at life, so lives it through her daughter's start. The daughter doesn't understand the blank space in her mother's eyes. She wants to tell her daughter, but her own mother had told her they were lies. So she doesn't know how to open up room for discussions she's never had. All she knows is that she's been labeled as the girl that's always been bad. Was it pride that she now sees staring at her daughter's face, or does she now understand that no amount of makeup can hide disgrace? So here I am, writing about a girl I barely know, a raped child inside a woman who has nothing left to show, who fought in the best way that she knew how by ripping sheets, a rippling effect that killed her grandmother, shamed her mother as her dream depletes. A girl that's smart enough and educated but was never given a chance, all because her mother, biased between honor and righteousness, accepted the devil's dance. The devil, who swayed with the father, the cousin, and the tutor's mind, promised to give her the life she dreamed of that is one of a kind, the kind that would be endless, raping daughters throughout generations, simply because one couldn't stand against the men's coronations. Against a system that shames the little child for being raped, one that pats the boy on the back for being a man. How the fuck could she have escaped? So sit me down in anger management and teach me it's anger displaced. Teach me that she should not have worn a shirt or shown cleavage because she wanted to be disgraced. And I'll tell you to shut the fuck up and teach your boys to keep their dicks in their pants. I'll deal with my hot temper and blood pressure through my poetic rants. Up until the day our daughters will be safe enough to be women. I will rant until we reclaim our voices that were taken by men. I will write until the day the system is charging and sentencing rapists to death. As a matter of fact, I'll write until there is no rape at all, until my last breath. And I am telling you, and I'm talking about mind rape included, making women believe that they aren't enough. But that'll take another hour and we don't have time, but enough is enough. This is an open letter to women. So I don't usually title my poems. When I published my first book, because I didn't want people to get confused, I colored them. So it was like different colors and different fonts, so that you know when one ends and when the other starts. You are powerful, powerful beyond compare. Your light shines so bright, you are a gem so rare. Do not let it be dimmed down by any of those fuckers. You know, the ones telling you you love too much? Fuck those suckers. Let them suckle on their mothers before they speak. Let them assess their strength before they dare call you weak. Yes, you've bent your knees, bowed your head, and served their soul, but don't forget that it wasn't because you weren't incomplete, but because you were whole. Full of life, ready to give more than you would take, abundance of love. Don't forget that behind the protective spears you throw, you send a peaceful dove. A bird they can accept by giving water, and a spear they can avoid by being kind back. Those blank bullets you shot their way were warnings and not an attack. So let them not dare look you in the eyes to tell you that they were hurt when they first treated you like a mat on which they clean dirt. So don't you dare tell me or yourself that it's the way they care. Because if they did even a little bit, they would not even dare. Forget sleeping with another, they wouldn't even have thought about it. They'd look away after a glance and think of hosting you for dinner that's candlelit. But in the meantime, do not forget and always remember that you are whole. Full and complete alone on your own, a being with an objective and a goal. You possess a body capable of birthing an entire human being that breathes. And they're the ones telling you that they're not ready to have kids? Tell them this. Listen, dickhead. When did you ever have to push out 2 pounds out of your womb? The only thing you'd push out are swimmers all the way down to your tomb. So while you're jerking off with your right hand or the left, whichever suits you best, remember that I am done taking your bullshit, wake yourself up and clean the rest. Find yourself, take the time and space however long you need, and I'll get rid of you to bloom like a flower ridden of bad weed. If what you give is an elbow punch for a shoulder that put you at ease, then you're not just confused, brother, you're a disease. And here are my antibiotics, both my middle fingers and a fuck you with a smile. Cause your only comeback is my strong personality, my like of humor, and my sense of style. The fuck do I look like and who do you take me for? The same river doesn't flow in the same bend as before. You, yes you, would not understand what a heartbreak feels like, since you're so used to making promises and saying I love yous, then going psych. What would you know about giving up your soul and every breath so the other lives? What would you get about getting nothing in return for what love gives? You would not know a thing about the self-sacrifice that it takes, nothing about what is necessary to mend your broken heart until it breaks. You would not be satisfied until you ensure that you've tasted every bit of every girl. I know now that you like ice cream with nuts, every topping, and a swirl. So mind you this, I refuse to break down for the soulless body you possess. I am not Cinderella, I am not Ariel, or your damsel in distress. Ladies, do not believe the promises. They are lies even when they seem true. You are not lonely. You are powerful beyond compare. Don't let them hurt you. Whole and capable of birthing a generation of kings and queens. So let them run around with their tails between their legs after them teens. But don't you dare sell yourself short for coward dicks. You aren't a thornless rose. You have your own share of pricks. Prince Charming doesn't exist and never has he ever. Women, we, men, are sources of life and shall be now and forever. My hair is not a rebel. Trust me. It sleeps when I tell it to, sits, stands, and rolls on my order. I can make it hard, thick, just as much as I can make it soft to fall on one shoulder. It does what I tell it to do whenever I tell it to do it. It is so obedient that once I give it the order, it won't change for shit. And in all honesty, sometimes it's too much to handle, so I just simply let it be. It's a part of my essence, encrypted in my DNA. It's a part of being me. I stand before you today, a determined voice and not a crack in my throat to tell you I love my hair. Dismissing my story on the basis of I, according to you, have good hair is not fair. This black weight on my head has a story all its own. Had it been decades ago, would have gotten me disowned. And it's not like shit's changed, because what's fucking good hair to begin with? When you tell me how nice it looks, but teach me inadvertently to contain it. My hair is not a rebel. It's an army of warriors with my ancestors' blood written on each strand, ready to go to a war it didn't ask for yet faithfully awaits my command. It's the forest that muffled the death of my ancestors on both sides. It beats the heart of great-grandmothers that would not be taken for free rides. It is a pack of wolves ready to take in a child as their own. It is a black panther that watches over me so I don't stand alone. It is the bear that dances with me, that guards from the cold to keep me warm. It is the calm Dead Sea collecting the souls of my ancestors for the upcoming storm. It is the vultures flying over my head to point towards the fire. It is the night sky that boasts the full moon and it doesn't retire. It is the snake, the spider, and everything in this world that is not right. It is. Can't you see? It is nature itself in all its might. My hair is not a rebel. I can curl, twist, braid, cornrow, and iron straight flat. I can throw up or let down, and I ain't a fucking dog that you can pat. I can put it in a bun, shorten, and even make it longer if I fucking please. So when I come with a lion's mane, don't fear it. It's not like it's some sort of a disease. It ain't sick, it ain't ill, and it sure as hell is not disobedient. Don't go behind my back talking about how crazy my hair is just because it ain't lenient. Easy going by whose standards though, because I did not get the fucking memos. You must be judging the craziness of my hair based off Garnier, Pantene, Head and Shoulders, did I leave any out? Their marketing demos. But listen, why should I subjugate my hair to heat to make it look clean? Mind you, I said make it look clean. At this point, it doesn't matter if I don't wash for weeks as long as it doesn't look mean. Why should I feel uneasy about the texture of my natural hair for your comfort? Our type of hair you de-beautify with makeover shows, Jerry Springer and Cops, our type of hair that you contort. My hair is not a rebel. It has every right to stand against the oppression you put it under. It has every right to run, flee, attack, and fight back, but never surrender. Because it is a sign that it not only has a mind of its own, but a heartbeat. It bleeds each time it is scorned and refuses to be imprisoned to undergo heat. Because it remembers those that have been burned alive for their difference, breathes freely for those that have been strangled, hung, and killed for their resistance. It resists in every form I make it morph into because it's the only way it fights capitalism. It capitalizes on its ability to be okay with itself and break free from the ism. Simply put, it refuses to be named the good hair or the rebel, so it regularly trims away every single imposed label. No. My hair is not a rebel. My hair is not crazy. My hair isn't uncontainable. No, my hair is not impossible. My hair is not a petting zoo. My hair is not unstoppable. No, my hair is not resistant. My hair is not imposing. My hair is not an empty flattery. No, my hair is not a war zone. My hair is not a fight. My hair is not angry. No, my hair is not a rebel, but I am not my hair. some of you know this poem because you were with me in Davenport. I'm reading it again because Aki asked me to, and I had the blessing of wearing Aki's kurta, so I want to honor him in reading this poem. This is my sermon. I am not the wind, I am much faster. Add 1 + 1 as easy as citing Leviticus 19 verse 18, call me the pastor. I won't ask for the bills laid out in your wallet, but for a few minutes of your time. Matter of fact, here, let me pay you. Take my 2 cents, here's my dime. Words have power. I use words, ergo I am powerful. My power lies not on what and how I say it, but in me being mindful. Love thy neighbor, love thy friend, just be thoughtful. Long to see your soul in the other's eyes by merging from within, how wonderful. Be like David. Sing the songs that your heart wrote at birth, but don't fornicate. Well, okay, fornicate, but not with someone else's lover, do it with a celibate. Matthew 5, verse 28, let not your eye be distracted, because if it were to, pluck it out. How about just playing fair and being self-controlled, a slightly different route? Please listen, because I'm tired of the world turning a blind eye to some issues. When do we get to talk about the wasted resources and their misuse? When will the truth be the actual truth and not just some interpretation of some guy? I don't know about you, but I'm tired of citing according to's and Mr. Who says this and why. Just so you get to push your agendas just a little further than they'd naturally go. Just so you get to tell me and my sisters that we would not exist without the rib of some motherfucker created years ago. If you are offended, I won't apologize. You can leave the parish. I am the pastor. Licensed to spread the word all the while dissing the other parishes because I am much faster. A bit more rapid at knowing how to assemble a flock just a bit quicker. Cunning attending to the dissatisfied needs of the generations at spotting the money maker. Don't worry, I'm not talking about me, but that's exactly who and what I would be, wouldn't I? So said like this, you want to fight and disintegrate it, but not if I was in a costume or in a suit or a tie? Why do we not get to doubt the beliefs instilled and engraved since 10 centuries back? But asking more than the sole explanation of the word said so becomes an attack? An attack on who exactly? Would you elaborately tell me the logic in that? Because I'm starting to believe I have a better pastor and it's a cat in a hat. We don't need preachers of the word, but more preachers of action. We don't need leaders in office, but more leading attraction. We don't need women or men in power. We need empowered beings. It's simple. Be a preacher of good, a leader in truth. Power to the people. This is going to be the last one. You won't have to hear any more of my rantings. Can I go get a glass of water first? My throat is kind of dry. Sorry. I can tell you a joke in the meantime. I don't have any. Oh, okay. Oh, so what do you want to talk about? How's the reading so far? Okay. Thank you for coming and thank you for taking in all those bad words. I don't think my mom is going to be very happy when she sees the video, but she'll be like, you said that in front of all those people? Thank you. Hi, Oscar, how are you? Thank you for coming, Ken. Sorry about that, okay. Motherfucker. Motherfucker. Motherfucker? I've often thought long and hard about how historically degrading this word is to people of color and how it's insulting to the mother. In our current times though, it makes me realize how it actually shows how sick any fucker could be for wanting to fuck her. Like, what would make you want to transgress the womb that gave birth to you? The one that held you for 9 months, that pushed you to life until it tore for you. You might say that since they don't ever fuck their mothers, then where's the relevance? Had they understood that every womb is sacred, the one next to you is your mother, what's the difference? In a society where it's easier to accept a man kneeling a woman down asking her who her daddy is, rather than projecting the values of his mother before he rapes her becomes joke-like parodies. As if there was fuck me written all over that short panty-like skirt she wore, used to the privilege you have, you chose to conveniently forget the no she gave you before. On one side, you feel insulted. All the porn you fed your dick got you hungry. All these women unzipping pants and jumping on dicks is not happening now, so it makes you angry. Motherfucker, think again, and think a second longer, tread carefully. Not every smile and every nice girl is a target for your boyish conquests of who gets to hit the most booty. Boys will be boys has been going on for far too long now, it's time it ends. So I'll spill out a couple of facts, throw you random truths that will slap you around until your reality bends. You come from a long line of men who liked their genitals so much they erected monuments in its shape. They denied the men trespassed their rights and pointed to short dresses to explain rape. Justified each wrong move they made as they thrusted in and out of lands that weren't theirs, took what never belonged to them, branded their women and breeded in search of hairs, decreed laws spreading their ideologies of how only the fittest shall survive. Even after we were no longer in the caves, they kept us in the dark so only they could strive. Ensured that the laws were only for them, worked only in their favor, blindsided us, taking sides with a manufactured god. They made us forget we are goddesses with sass. A temple connected to the universe all on its own. We come from a long line of witches. So we will not only put a spell on you, we will spin you around and spit you out if you call any of our women bitches. My women, with whom we are galactically connected in our womb, motherfucker, we are your mothers. Birthed you without having to carry you within our bodies, that's how powerful we are your mothers. You knew of our power that would have made you greater had you known that we are natural caregivers. We are the walking arks of the covenant, we are the sacrificial lamb on a monthly basis, the living holy grails, best be believers. But you chose to deny it with all your might and fabricated stories of Eve. Don't get me started on the male god you want me to kneel to, asking through his male son for absolution. The fuck you want me to believe? Like the sun, through the radiance of our warmth, we would have made you shine. Coming from behind, we would have made you as bright as the moon on a star-struck skyline. But you fear the power we exert. Your DNA reminds you of the foot that Lilith put down. Our light shining through you made you think we would over-empower you, and shining together makes you frown. So you wanted to shine on your own, be the man all alone, be the moon and the sun on your own, and you wanted the sky to yourself. You devised 1 Corinthians 11:3, man is the head of the woman. You stuck to that scripture like honey, made us lick and admire its content, content we shut up with the untold stories that have yet to adorn our shelf. Deep down, you know that the question of equality that Lilith raised in the Garden of Eden will come back to haunt you. So instead of admitting that man raped the woman for his lineage to continue, he created a second woman from his ribcage, representing the cage he would put her in to be submissive. Hid the fact that the snake was indeed the penis dangling between his legs that slithered through Eve, which is Lilith in truth. And he made her change her name like they often do and told a different story. But he waited until she died, because had she been alive, she would have never bought that crap as his story. Correct that, motherfucker, it's her story. The truth of the creation of life from gestation to birth. Each of the interconnected galaxies that created the universe, including this Earth. Did you know that if women stayed together long enough, their menstrual cycles synchronize? Connect without an uttered word automatically. Imagine the force that scared you. You had to divide us with lies. Had us baiting against one another based on standards of beauty, race, and the smallest differences. Insignificant values you instilled, disconnecting us from one another, making us lonely and far apart galaxies. But like a dormant volcano, you better know that we will erupt eventually, and even if it takes us centuries. Rest assured, the women you mind-fucked into being submissive are waking up from their beauty sleep. You put them in to tell their own stories.